In normal cases, the atheists think that through the theory of evolution, they can eliminate God. But that is not the fact. Man fancies to become God through evolution and self-realization. Evolution is not a new idea originated by Darwin. It is the oldest religious concept of man evolving into godhood. God is the goal of evolution. Any kind of evolution could be in some way deeply connected with the idea that you will be like God. The theories of evolution and infinite amount of potentialities inherent in man led to the denial of the Creator God and the belief that man can gradually become God. Darwin's evolution and Jung's collective consciousness together makes possible the theoretical platform ready for our godhood. But the fact is that the true miracles of God happen instantly, not as a result of evolution. Example is the case of creation. Evolution is sign of weakness. It is a great lie and waste in history. The reason why people believe in the theory of evolution is not because evolution is credible, but because they don't want to believe in the Creator God. Belief in evolution presupposes faith in a force or superior principle, which lawfully guide the evolution. But the evolutionists do not recognize the agency as God. Some psychiatrists believe in the theory of reincarnation based on the evidences from their patients who were subjected to hypnotic regression. But the validity of such evidences of past lives of patients can never be verified. Modern man is shifting from the one extreme of the denial of God to the other extreme effort of becoming God himself. During the Middle Ages man had a high view of himself and Earth. But Galileo proved that Earth is only a small aspect of the cosmos. Darwin falsely convinced him that man is just an animal. Economists and psychologists further degraded man to the level of machines. Sartre boasted that human life is meaningless. Humanism, which declared the autonomy of man and his independence from God, led to despair. This despair was the platform from which jumped into the New Age, which promised man that he is God himself. Thus he moved from one extreme to another. But New Age promises that man himself is God and attempts to project human self as the infinite reference point of everything. By turning into oneself through different mental, physical and sexual techniques and drugs, one is manipulating one's own system and opens up oneself for harmful spirit beings. Ultimately he comes to a pitiable conclusion that man is not even an animal or machine but just an illusion. He writes off not himself. They fabricate all these false ideas because they are terrified by the idea of their mortality and hence want to falsely convince themselves that somehow they would survive, unconditionally. It all witnesses the failure of secular humanism, which believes that man is the measure of all things, to satisfy the spiritual hunger of man. Their failure is in the denial of the authentic source of meaning, which is God. Man is acting as God by the power of satanic sorcery. In fact, man is not God. Source of man's psychic powers which give him godlike experiences is satanic. In fact, man does not have supernatural power in him. If he had godlike powers in him, man would not have believed the promise of devil and fallen. When supernatural powers are displayed in man, this is either by God or by demons. Man is only a channel. The sources of psychic powers and true miracles lie outside man. For example, Samson and the demonic of Mk 5:2-13. Hence whatever psychic powers some people might exhibit, is the activity of the Satan from the unconscious mind of them. Devil's power is easily available to man because he does not demand holiness. But Satan will not acknowledge his role. Satan wants man to believe that all this power comes from man himself. Thus man is happy in being deceived and devil is happy in deceiving. Satan's weapon is in making man to believe that man in his own right is God. When man believes the lie, Satan gives the necessary mental experiences which will convince man that he is really God. The power of the self increases as is rendered by demons. Miracle is not the criterion of truth. Those who go after miracle and success will eventually approve whatever that works and interpret everything including the Bible accordingly. Man's mind is assumed to have infinite potentialities. The human mind can create its own reality. You can turn your desires into reality by the power of your belief. Thus when you make a miracle to happen, you are acting as God. You use a power which you do not possess legally as God-given. Rather you are getting the power from the enemy of God, Satan, who is helping you to play God in order to discredit God. Any attempt to manipulate God is sorcery. God cannot be manipulated. When you rise up to get something which you cannot get, the enemy will give it you to deceive you. In whatever ways and for whatever purposes getting this services. After the Babel dispersion, people were all the time attempting to come together on a global basis. Just like the Babel of Genesis chapter 11, now people are on their way to make a world of their own design. Their stated purpose is peace, prosperity and love for all mankind. Thus they often speak about heaven on earth, global village etc. They have the one language of computer-based communication and technology. Man declared independence from God. Man believes he can do anything he wants. They deny the reality offered by God and create their own reality and live in it. This is apostasy. Man believes that he is inherent in infinite potentialities. This mentality of self-sufficiency excludes God from the realm of his activities. But a plan that excludes God will produce nothing good. And such a plan is innately defective. The world history is a great project which is in the process of completion. The assumption that works at the heart of this project is that man is God. Methods may include science, religions, and cults. Casualties could be wars, disease and poverty. The achievements of science and religion are the proofs given. The evidence may not be credible to the discerning ones but is convincing to the credulous. Many elite groups of people in the world are at work to bring about the one world government. They are just tools in the hands of the